What's going on, everyone? James Lynch here for oddschecker US, taking a look at Saturday's UFC 276 main event, which pits middleweight champion Israel Adesanya against Jared Cannonier. And as you can see right now, Israel Adesanya, a huge favorite, minus 365, the comeback on Cannonier, plus 280. And this is going to be taking place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, so bigger cage as opposed to the Apex, so keep that in mind. Let's do a quick tail of the tape, and then I'll get to my pick. Adesanya, 32 years old, 38 years old for Jared Cannonier, so a little bit younger here for Adesanya. 6'4" compared to 5'11", 80-inch reach for Adesanya, 77.5. So not only is Adesanya younger, he's a little bit bigger in this fight too. Let's take a look at their last few fights. Adesanya, of course, coming off that impressive win over Robert Whittaker. Close fight. You know, some people felt it could have gone the other way, but still, that's 2 straight wins over Whittaker, who many consider to be the best middleweight outside of the current champ Adesanya. So really good win on the resume. Before that, getting the win over Marvin Vettori. And you'll see that loss to Jan Blachowicz. That was at light heavyweight. Jan Blachowicz was the champion at the time. Adesanya wanting to be a double champ. He clearly lost that fight. He was on his back most of the fight. Couldn't get up. Couldn't stop those takedowns. So that's the only blemish he's had in the UFC, but he is still undefeated at middleweight. You look at some of the other wins here. Paulo Costa, really impressive win. Yoel Romero, not the greatest fight, but still, that's a good win to have on the resume considering what Romero's done. And of course, he's still the only fighter to knock out Whittaker in the middleweight division. So really impressive resume for the current middleweight champion. But Jared Cannonier, same thing. He's got a really impressive resume too. What got him this title shot? It was that knockout win over Derek Brunson in a fight that was actually pretty competitive leading into the second round, but Cannonier able to capitalize and get the knockout win. Cannonier's got some serious power. You'll see a couple knockout wins on the resume here, but that's what got him this title shot, and that's what makes this fight interesting, is that Cannonier, I think, does have a puncher's chance. He had the win over Calvin Gastelum prior to that, lost to Whittaker, but that was a fight where he got injured early in the fight and still went the distance with Whittaker. So even though he lost that one, I think it told us a lot of how talented Cannonier is. And he's still one of the few fighters to knock out Jack Hermansson. The fight before that, that was a really good win too. And then, of course, he has the win over Anderson Silva, and you see a lot of knockouts here. The other thing with Cannonier is that he's fought in 3 separate weight classes. You'll see here some fights at heavyweight. He's actually got a win at heavyweight, and then he has also fought at 205. But middleweight is where he's had his most success. You can see some of the wins here, like I mentioned, very solid. So this is an interesting fight. Obviously, Adesanya at minus 365, that's pretty steep, but I think the line is kind of where it needs to be. I think you could almost argue that maybe the line could be a little bit lower here for Adesanya, because I do think Cannonier, like I said, has a puncher chance here, and he's got good wrestling. Can he get the takedown on Adesanya? We'll see. We know how tough it is to take down Adesanya in the fight. I think this fight's going to play out pretty interestingly in the fact that I think that Adesanya is going to be able to, pick his shots on Cannonier and avoid some of those power shots. You know, Adesanya has not been knocked out in the UFC, but he has been knocked out in kickboxing. So I think that's a possibility of Cannonier being able to go out there and do it, but I just don't see it happening. I think Adesanya has a lot more ways to win this fight. Cannonier doesn't. To me, it's a puncher's chance, or maybe if he can get this to the ground, but Cannonier not really a submission specialist either. So what I think most likely is going to happen is Adesanya is going to pick his shots, avoid some of those power shots, and either get a late finish on Cannonier, or most likely I could see him getting a 5-round decision here. If you look at the last few fights with Adesanya, he has not finished his opponents. And you know, some people will say that's boring. It's not. He's just fighting really good guys. Vettori, tough to take out. Whittaker, tough to finish. Paulo Costa, you got to finish there. But you look here, traditionally, it's mainly been decision wins for Adesanya. So I'm leaning on that side as well. Maybe you take the Adesanya by decision prop to get some better value there. But my pick in the main event has got to be Israel Adesanya. So let me know what you think in the comments. Who are you picking? How do you think they get it done? Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Lynch on Sports, and make sure you subscribe to the oddschecker US YouTube channel, where you'll find my picks every single week, along with my main card preview with Ben. We do that every week as well, so make sure you check that out too. I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.